Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4, and today spawning in on the east side of the map, playing in blue, we've got crackedyhere playing as the Malians. And as opponent on the west side of the map, playing in red, we've got Kiljardi playing as the English. Welcome everyone to Cliffside. Hope you guys are having a great morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Going to be having a cracking matchup, two civilizations that I feel like they fit well, you know. There are certain civilizations, when you see them kind of matched up together, you feel like you're going to have a good game, and I think that's going to be the case today. The English, of course, have gone through a few changes. They can get the king for free from the Abbey of the King's Landmark. It's something they typically do. Of course, we're seeing a bit of a shift away from a sort of super aggressive longbowman rush opening from the English from the Council Hall Landmark. And, well, I guess the Malians in many ways would be able to counteract that pretty well with some Feudal age units of their own. In particular, the Javelin Thrower, a great unit for dealing with longbowmen. Could be a heavy feature here today on Cliffside. Now, two civilizations that do love to get a lot of food quite quickly, of course. The Malians focusing more on the beef, the cow side of things. The English focusing more on the farms. And gold income is actually going to be quite nice for the Malians early on, of course, with the free generation from the pit mines. The English, though, if they can get to that late game enclosures with the farms passively generating gold every minute, it's going to be a nice approach for them. It's something they typically try and achieve, especially with the ability to go for the king early on. Second town centre, perhaps, we shall see. I'm kind of curious to see how this one pans out, right? We've seen the English change recently. It has often been the case that they look to go aggressive with the Council Hall and trapping some pressure on the Malians in this particular matchup. But actually, it feels like the English can do a slight different approach these days. A two-town centre can be pretty safe and secure early on, to get that villager count up, to try and counteract what is usually kind of inevitable at the stage of having a cow boom as the Malians. In fact, looks like cow boom situation probably is going to happen here between the capital town centre and the pit mine. Possibly the best location for it. Maybe here, to be fair. It's not a bad spot here behind that straggler tree. And it will indeed be the Abbey of Kings going up with 3 villagers, so we'll get that king out quick time and put a little bit of early pressure. It's going to be the Mansa Quarry for crackedyhere. His Malians. Now, I would like to say a very big thank you for everyone who's been supporting the channel, whether it be on Twitch and YouTube. You guys are absolute legends. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hopefully today, going to have a cracking game and see what Crackedy be cooking, what Kiljardi will be up to with his English. Going to go out to stone, so yeah, certainly going to be playing for that second town centre with this. And it's commonly done, of course. Now, relic positions pretty even for both players, I've got to say. Like, you've got the 3 kind of more or less in the midline between the 2 players, and you've got 1 on each side, with crackedy's ones on the east side, and of course Kiljardi's there on the south. It's going to be an exciting game. Like, you've got a lot of options as well for the Malians. We typically see they kind of play into sofa and javelin throws, but I mean, they've got other options as well. The Mustafadi warriors can do a lot of damage against man-at-arms from the English, which is something they typically posture to. I think this matchup in some ways can be a bit tricky for the English, because it feels like every unit that the English can get, the Malians have a super hard counter, right? It feels like the Malians are certainly one of the civilizations that are, you know, based about hard counters, right? Against heavily armored units, they've got Mustafadi warriors. Against ranged units, they've got javelin throwers. And they've got, of course, the Donsos, which are probably one of the best spearman-type units in the game. Of course, the Byzantines will have something to say about that, but the Donsos are pretty nifty themselves as things happen. So yeah, Crackedy, just letting Kiljardi know that he's there. Needs to be careful not to lose that scout, of course, but yeah, to be fair, I don't think Kiljardi is going to take that anymore. It's just going to cause unnecessary idle time. And there is that feudal age now in for the English. King going to be queuing up. Won't be too long, but 20 seconds or so, and it's going to be on the map. Now, on a map like Cliffside, I kind of like this map for various different reasons. I feel like regardless of the civilization you want to play, the map does offer some, you know, potential for you. You got the middle area, which is quite easy to walk across, quite close to each other, allows that early aggression. But then, because of the cliffs, you can technically wall up with a relatively minimal investment to see the game kind of drag on a little bit. Maybe look to go to the, you know, the mid game, the late game as well, potentially. Now, with that second town centre for the English, I'm kind of curious to see where he's going to place it. We are, you know, often seeing players place the second town centre very close to home, the initial capital town centre, just because of the fact that it's got lower HP. You know, it's a little bit more vulnerable. There's only seven spots that villagers can garrison inside of. And it will indeed be relatively conservative there for Kiljardi. On the other side of things, instead of getting second town centres, of course, the Malians opt to go for the cow boom, and Doesn't quite have a mill up just yet. Of course, opting for the production buildings. Go for the Donsos opening. Understandable when you've got the king running around like this. But it can be a bit of a concern to leave the malians to do what they like doing, which is cow boom. It's going to be a double mill cow boom. Something that's quite nice for the flexibility for the malians, by the way, is that, you know, when you're up with a second town center as the English, you're just going to be working with that kind of production rate, right? But the malians can be a little bit more flexible with their, you know, one town center and double mill. They don't have to always produce cows from both mills at all times, so they can start to trickle in more units in the feudal age if they need to, rather than in full investing into a double mill cow boom. Villager trying to get the... oh, did he lose that? I think it might... Yeah, it was deleted in the end. Crackedy deleted it in time before it got destroyed. So nice attention to detail. But with that second town center up and running with plenty of villagers on wood here for kiljardi, he's definitely going to be scaling that economy. That's going to continue. One thing to bear in mind though, the cows don't actually count as population for the malians. So it's a little bit deceptive to see the villager count drop so much compared to, you know, the two town center for the English. But bear in mind, the malians will have those cows popping out relatively soon. Oh, king goes down. Pretty cheap loss there, I'm afraid, for kiljardi. Lost it for free, and he doesn't get that back until he actually makes one. That's going to be 200 resources to do that, so it's an expensive loss for free. And there we go, starting of the cow boom. What's kind of cool is talking about the timings of things, right? You've got the two TC English that do definitely come online around, say, the 20-minute mark, actually. I think it's kind of around the time they start spamming out units. The Malians feel like they're a little bit earlier than that. I mean, to be fair, it depends how aggressive the English want to be, because we do typically see the English actually opt for some units before they go to the castle age. Sometimes you get just a sort of a straight fast castle, which is typically what the Malians do, in fact. The Malians typically not wanting to make units if they can get away with it, but the English, of course, a civilization that can force them into such a playstyle, or such a necessity, really. Crackedy looking to wall up that middle area, and it does look like he's going to be trying to be a little bit more greedy about things, get to the next age a little bit quicker, potentially try and snag up those relics. Speaking of which, this relic quite nice behind the palisades, so we'll have access to that, unless, of course, kiljardi tries to burn that down, and the farming transition coming out right now. What's kind of fascinating about this matchup, by the way, it really heats up very quickly. The reason why is because some civilizations, they can delay their farming transition or their kind of sustainable food source for quite some time. The Malians and the English, though, they tend to get it slowly and trickle it in. And the benefit of that is that a lot of civilizations, they go through a period of the game where actually they can't sort of mass produce units. They have to have a bit of a stutter step in their kind of production capabilities. Because of the investment they need of wood into their farms, their full-time, sort of long-term food income. Of course, though, the English typically tend to do it slowly but surely. They've already started, and the Malians have already got it rocking and rolling with those cows. And it means in this particular matchup, actually, things go full steam ahead. Once these two civilizations start pumping out units, they just keep pumping. There's no gap. There's no waiting time for more of a sustainable food source. They just keep pumping. So it does make things a little bit spicy in the mid to late game. A little bit quiet things here going on here. Not too much happening at this early stage, but bear in mind what we've talked about, the food source and how it kind of slowly trickles up rather than a hard transition. Things will start to escalate and then they won't stop. And that woodline a little bit exposed, so Crackedy definitely being forced into more units. Gonna need a couple more jam throws. Villagers have to back away from gold, which is not really what he wants. Does need the gold income for the cow boom as well, so quite heavily reliant on gold in a sense, and that's kind of really why you see kiljardi really pressurizing this location. He's got good longbows numbered, but yeah, I mean the javelin throws are now starting to mass up a little bit, peeling away the weak ones. Nice micro there by Crackedy. Although he loses it in the end, to be fair. Now I'm kind of curious to see if kiljardi will look to invest in an outpost for the network of castles bonus. Now there's got some foothold in the position, although that's slowly starting to change now, with a double archery range being built and adding a third as well. So yeah, Crackedy being forced into the feudal age units, but he's got a good defensive stance here. He should be fine, right? The longbows going up against the javelin throws. You always favour the javelin throws in the as the game wears on, unless there's any transition into horsemen, which could be a potential for the English. And that would possibly bring about a sort of hefty play into Donsos, which is an incredibly strong unit for the Malians. I feel like Donso's javelin throws are a really powerful army composition, and there it is. There is a double stable out for the English. And so, yeah, Crackedy really going for the hard counters. The great thing about the Donsos is they do have sort of a ranged component to them. They can actually throw their spears a little distance. And what that allows is, you know, the horsemen just can't get close because of that. Oh, speaking of horsemen, 2 horsemen will be sniping out the scout from Crackedy, which is unfortunate. Sorry about the colour glitching there for a second. But yeah, Cowboom full underway. Definitely, we see Kiljardi definitely continuing with this feudal age aggression. Trying to get some value as much as he can. Definitely posturing towards this right side. There are 2 pit mines after all. Here come the javelin throws. Only 2 horsemen for now, so I don't think Kiljardi will be too optimistic about pushing in. And speaking about lost scouts, well, there's the one for the English. Maximising the deer income, but you know, slowly and steadily adding those farms there, Kiljardi. Looks like he's actually kind of heading back, looking to get some blacksmith upgrades, maybe just buy some time, maybe he's opting for the castle age at this point. In fact, let's just see how many villages has got on gold. Maybe not, he's only got 3 villages of gold. Typically you expect to see a lot more villages on gold if you're kind of tempting to go to the castle age. Kind of curious play actually for Kiljardi to move the army back. Perhaps doesn't want to get caught out of position, but ultimately it's unlikely to happen with the Malians with a full infantry composition. Obviously it's a lot more concerning if they went for cavalry unit themselves. Kiljardi maybe looking to keep the army just a little bit hidden, right, out of sight. Maybe look to try and catch his enemy unawares. Just redirecting those horsemen at the waypoint. Plenty of food coming on in, but he's still producing horsemen. Getting that scout replaced. And at one point, these 2 players will start to opt to go for the castle age. I don't think they're looking to take any more engagements in the feudal age. At least, doesn't really feel like Crackedy is, but a couple of units being sent north. Horsemen looking to find another angle of attack. He does have iron undermesh, so the question is whether he would dive the town centres. The big concern, though, is you know, going against the Malians, putting the pressure on them in the food economy side of things is actually quite tough, right? This economy, the cows are super safe, unless they're completely overwhelmed. Speaking of which, oh no, Crackedy, he might lose a couple of villagers here. He does react, though, a really good reaction. Going to lose 1 villager there on the left side for sure. The horsemen are going to chase down the others. There aren't that many horsemen, but they're going to poke and prod and try and get some villager kills there. Should get at least 2, I would have thought. Yeah, we'll definitely get at least 2, although the Donsos will have something to say that. Won't get there scot-free. Managed to get 3 of them, but we'll lose at least 2 horsemen. 1 so far. The Donsos... Oh, no, wait. The Donsos didn't throw. Throw! Donsos, do what you do. Throw them. Oh, that's unfortunate. I think he cancelled it. Like, they didn't throw it, and it reset the cooldown. Alright, well, did get the second horseman in the end, and ultimately, Kiljardi will be happy with that, killing a couple of villagers, and it will be the Grand Fulani Coral for the castle age for crackedyhere. Now, one thing to bear in mind is that Kiljardi is a way off the castle age himself. I think once he sees the tech up, he's got to think about going to the castle age himself. Oh, taking the engagement here. Oh, going to lose a couple of horsemen here for sure. It's unfortunate for Kiljardi. I mean, there's about 3 or 4 horsemen there. That's very expensive, guys. Holy smokes. The problem for him is he needs to get to that castle age quick time. Plenty of farms, though, coming out. And he's got a good economy in terms of villager count, raw villager count. Bear in mind, though, the Grand Fulani Coral is now up and running. That's going to give the cows an additional 20 food per minute. And he's got the food income pretty much secure. It'll take some time for that to kind of catch up, though, with the Grand Fulani Coral adding into the mix. Only 500 food per minute at the moment. Plenty of food coming in for Kiljardi, and it's going to opt for that castle age pretty soon. Going to try and do some damage in. It has had some success already in the northern part of the map. Snipes 1 villager there for good measure. Needs to be careful not to get caught out, though, because of course Kiljardi will be looking to get to the next stage soon, but his units are stuck in the veterancy status. Sorry, the feudal age status. He's looking to get the veterancy status. It's probably a good idea to back away, right? Because you got the veterancy coming out for the Malians, and he might be looking to push out here soon, Crackedy. Although these 3 horsemen always keeping Crackedy's army back at home and honest. Adding a stable for some Sofa. Typically see that as the Malians, actually. They do have this transition, and that is a big transition. Holy smokes, there's 5 stables in total. Definitely a big switch up in the gameplay here. It makes a lot of sense, because there aren't actually that many spearmen out for Kiljardi, right? He went for the horseman longbows approach, and for Crackedy and the Malians, the switch into Sofa makes a lot of sense. It's a totally different status if you've got a lot of spearmen for the English, but it just doesn't, right? So Sofa will be running riot potentially here, and it's going to really mass produce. Gonna get that white tower in the middle just to protect that area and that entrance point. Make sure that Crackedy has to go around the sides. But yeah, mass Sofa play, I kind of like it. He might be diving in the base. They can, especially with the second armor upgrade, the ranged armor, they can definitely do well, especially with imported armor as well. That +2 extra, it makes them a really, really powerful unit at diving in the town centers. Granted, the English is not really a civilization you want to dive into, but I think they can still get away with it here, the Malians. It looks like it's going to be a man-at-arms play, which is... Oh, maybe Spearman, actually, looks like, yeah. It's got to be Spearman. I kind of love this approach, though, right? Because in the early game, it was really the Malians using the units that have less mobility. But things are definitely going to switch now, with the Sofa being added in, and it's actually the English have to kind of react, making Spearmen of their own, and they're going to be less mobile. Considering the village kills up to now have really come down from Horsemen, the mobile unit, it means the English are going to have to be playing a little bit more defensive, and he's lost quite a few already here. Crackedy pushing on in, diving on in, and looking to do as much damage as possible. Clearly focusing on the villages, decent number of longbowmen there, it's causing a lot of idle time. I mean, certainly these longbows will eventually take care of the javelin throwers, especially aided by the town centre fire. And Crackedy will lose his army, but he's getting good value for it. He's killed a decent number of villagers. Would it be enough value from losing these units? I'm not so sure, actually. Oh, Crackedy is going to get raided to the north of the horsemen, the berries. But Suffolk will take care of that pretty quickly, and he'll be fine. I don't think Crackedy will lose too much more unless the horsemen do actually redirect their routes. And okay, well, looks like Crackedy moving away with the units for now, just to try and make sure they live as long as possible. 76 villagers. The economy is still looking pretty decent, pretty neck and neck in terms of villager count kills. Looks like behind this, though, Crackedy is looking to pick up some of those relics. Javelin throwers will trade decently well, but you know, numbers-wise, they will eventually succumb to these longbows, but they're going to pick off a couple before they go down. The Sofa just going to look at try and cut off those horsemen. He redirects their kiljardi. I wonder if it will see a siege workshop for trebuchets to just slowly work on that white tower, bearing in mind that, you know, trebuchet here can be really powerful because, you know, kiljardi can't really take care of that because of the palisades, right? He'd have to actually break through the palisades before attacking any trebuchet on the other side. That could be a smart play here for Crackedy. What's he making? Okay, more archery rangers. Continues with the javelin throwers, but he's actually going to get the upgrade to the veteran archers. Interesting approach here. He might be actually making a tech switch. Like, he sees a lot of spearmen, and so I feel like Crackedy might be thinking about poison arrow archers, which actually would be a really nice play against the number of spearmen that, like, you know, there's just too many here. So Crackedy's got a lot of raiding value, but he's still making a lot of sofas as well. But he's got to take care of the spearmen. Looks like it's going to be softer archer composition, which I kind of enjoy. It's going to be looking to be good here. But just have to back away off with gold. Does have a taller outpost, but no aristocrats involved there, so can't really do too much apart from give extra vision. Without any villagers garrison, that is, at least. He's kind of losing quite a few sofa here, though, Crackedy. Like, he's certainly lost his a lot of army. And, like, the destruction value definitely better for the English at this stage, and he's got a great economy. So Crackedy, this is the kind of concern going up against a civilization that opts for second town center play, right? You always feel like you're on the back foot, having to do damage. I'm not so sure Crackedy's done the damage he needs to do just yet. But with several pit mines now, 3 of them. One thing that's great about Cliffside, actually, is that there are actually quite a few gold veins that the miners can take advantage of. Speaking of trebuchet earlier we're talking about, looks like it will be a siege workshop for Crackedy here, but more importantly, you know, the walls have actually been broken through, so maybe, even if a trebuchet does come up, actually horsemen, or any unit, really, to be fair, kiljardi could just walk straight through. Is that Crackedy making a move down the right side? A big concern for kiljardi is his army is relatively immobile, right? Spearmen, longbows, and the you know, the movement speed, the mobility is certainly on the side of the Malians. Wait, oh no, 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 oh no, not like this, kiljardi. He had no vision of the area. He tries to get a greedy keep without checking first, and Crackedy, surely he's got to spot this, right? Oh no, this is not looking good. He's killed 16 villagers so far. That count is just about to go up very, very fast. Oh no, oh dear, oh dear. Kiljardi, run away. He's got to get out of there. He loses quite a few, at least. Well, at least 8, 9, 10 villagers out of this, and I think kiljardi is going to be under pressure. Like, I think Crackedy just dives this. I don't think he minds. Speaking of diving on in, Kiljardi can dive in with spearmen and longbows, but ultimately there's not enough longbowmen here. It's predominantly spearmen, and they're not a great raiding unit. I'll tell you what is a great raiding unit though. These Sofa, these javelin throwers, these archers definitely are. Looks like Kiljardi's going to lose quite a lot, and you know, he's lost a lot of villages, but more importantly, he's suffering from a lot of idle time. Looks like Kiljardi can try and do some damage on the forward position. I mean, ultimately, it takes too long to come back, right? Doesn't have the mobility, and so he has to just fight and do damage as much as he can. Meantime, though, he's getting a lot of damage done to him. Half the economy is idled. That food eco completely idled on the farms. In fact, there's a couple of villages here that didn't get the memo to retreat, and they're going to be slain by those Sofa. And slowly but surely, Crackedy is pumping out units back at home to defend with as well. Eventually, you have enough of a force to fight that off, and I think at this point, Crackedy is just quite happy to keep his enemy idled. I mean, that's more than half the economy idle for Kiljardi right now. This is huge. That's really going to dent in that economy. Look at the food income per minute. Drop down to 600. There's a couple of villages around the back. Did rush up and keep around the back here, Kiljardi, just as well to protect the gold vein and the food. Villages being sent out to work, but if Kiljardi, oh no, if Crackedy's spotting this, he'll target them, and he is targeting them. He's going to take down the town centre. There's 7 more villages. He just doesn't have enough here, Kiljardi. His economy's been idle for so long, he can't mount a response, he can't make units. And look at the economy for Crackedy, like, the food income is secure with the cows, gold income is passive from the pit mines. That's all he needs. He just needs Sofa and a couple of archers sprinkled in to take care of the spearmen. Town centre is on fire, and he's losing villages left, right and centre. There's a keep. Crackedy will do well to pull away from that position. I don't think he can really challenge that, but what he can challenge is this town centre. And there's 7 more villages that are about to go down very quickly. He's killed 52 in total so far. That second town centre played for Kiljardi. Like he had a lot of villages out of it, but Crackedy, some great raiding, has caused all sorts of problems, and he's going to kill this army in his base as well. He's cleared it all up. Now, granted, Crackedy did lose a lot of units, but they definitely did great work for him. That village count being equal is a huge problem, because that does not tell you the full story, of course. The cows, these aren't included in the village count for Crackedy, so he is miles ahead in economy right now. And it reflects it in the income per minute. Great raiding potential, great raiding damage coming on in, and I love the way that Crackedy's played this one out. Just the unit composition went for Donsos and javelin throwers. Being opted for horsemen and longbows, and then that switch into Sofa forced out the mass spearmen from Kiljardi, and then the tech switch into poison archers, which are a great unit for the malians, by the way. The poison component does an extra 3 damage over 6 seconds. Kind of lingers a little bit. And with all that said and done, he's already got the trebuchet out to focus on the white tower, just to make that entrance through the middle a little bit more open. Having said that, this does in a way help Kiljardi and in a way just kind of get to that man-at-arms unit that they love to do, the English. Man-at-arms will deal with the archers pretty well. Not so much the Sofa though. Behind all this, looking to pick up some of those relics. Crackedy already with 2 of them. Kiljardi does have his monastery built. Monk's a bit slow to come out. There's the first one though. So we'll start to get a bit of a gold trickling in, and Trebuchet have to back away. Springled should get it in the end, does pick it off, and Crackedy tried to repair but couldn't quite manage it, but the Springled will go down to the Sofa in the end, so he trades it a little bit. A decentish trade. You got 500 resources for a Springled. You got 650 for a Trebuchet. Not too shabby overall. Could be a lot worse. Second Trebuchet is out. White Tower is still in good health. Bit of a horseman raid here. Villagers backing away. Crackedy might just fight this actually. He's pretty low in health as veteran horseman. We'll lose 1 villager, but we'll take the horseman down in the end. That's a decent okay push on that horseman. Don't want to run on the villagers all the way back, right? Because it causes a lot of idle time. Speaking of which, they're still idled. Hello, back to work. Just taking a break maybe. I like the play with the Mangonels. Can do a lot of damage on the infantry if they can get close to them. But there is a Springled out for Crackedy, so definitely pushes that back. And I wonder where the cavalry are. The Sofa around the right side might look to get a flank on at some point. Get another bit of raiding potentially. Because Kiljardi's incredibly open on the right side. Good number of crossbows, but not up against Sofa here. So, well, I take the back. There's a couple of Sofa diving in now. It just doesn't have enough here, Kiljardi. Look at the military count starting to really escalate. He, the steam was really kicked out of him with that earlier raid. Yeah, the Sofa coming from the right side. Snap out the Mangonel, which is massive. They did get 1 shot off this, but, ultimately, Kiljardi, he's definitely been caught out here. Can happen as the English, actually. If you do go a little bit too close for comfort, it's difficult to retreat. And, yep, Crackedy, he's going to dive on in. Poison archers, they're going to focus on the backline of crossbows, and the software will take out the man-at-arms. Going to dive in on that white tower. Is there trebuchet? Nope, not just yet. I mean, he might just try and torch down the white tower, to be fair, because there's no boiling oil. And the archers will take care of the army. Yeah, Kiljardi, he's struggling at this point. Unit numbers are dwindling. Now, if there is one civilization that does well at defending, it is the English after all, but it's going to need a lot of work here done for sure. He's trying to raid Kiljardi. He's trying to get rid of that wood economy, diving in with a knight or two. We'll get a couple of villagers. But it looks like Crackedy, he wants to dive this and cause even more idle time. And why not when you've got the full cow boom ahead? He's got a lot of units he can keep pumping out. He'll be able to replace his army pretty quickly. Starting to get some rams as well, just for some close quarters action on the white tower. This is not looking good at all for Kiljardi. Retreats to the keep, but the issue is that with all these farms empty, he can't produce units. It's exactly what he needs. I love this little detail, by the way, keeping the archers inside the ram, because there's clearly units inside the white tower that might look to try and torch down the ram. So keeping a couple of archers there helps deal with that. Around the back, knight gets slain by the Soffer. And possibly here as well. And he's down to 2 military here. Kiljardi, I mean, at this point, is there really a way back? He's getting some eco upgrades, trying to get the village on the left side, get some food, but Crackedy, he's onto this. He spots it a mile off. He recognizes that food is a problem. Where can Crackedy raid? And this is where it is. Oh, the Soffer, they just need to turn right. Oh, he's going to wall them in. Create a bit of a playpen, but this is so much idle time. He'll get some of the wood walls up, palisades. Gonna get a gate. He's gonna get them up in the end. They should survive. Unless, yeah, they'll survive. For now. White tower, though, has been taken care of with 2 rams. Unfortunately, Kiljardi struggling. Equal villager count, but that doesn't tell you the full story, of course. Because of the cow boom. And I'm pretty sure with this, with the villagers trying to make a mad dash for it. Yeah, I mean, there's no way getting away from this, right? This Soffer there. I think Kiljardi, all that remains to be seen is tap out. He's trying to find if there's a way back into the game. Does have a decent-ish... Yeah, I mean, I was going to say he has a decent-ish village count, but ultimately it became too much. Crackedy dove in and just doing way too much damage. A great game of Age of Empires 4 in the end. Some really nice kind of strategic points to talk about in terms of unit counters and what they achieved there. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one on YouTube. If you did, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. Take care, and see you next time.